Okay, guys, we are going to talk a little about thalamus. Okay, it's very simplified part of anatomy. Okay, that I'll be discussing. I might not be covering everything, but whatever I feel is must know is what I'm going to cover. All right. So the topic what we are going to discuss today is thalamus. So what do you know about thalamus? Where is this located? Location is the first heading. What you need to remember. It is located in diencephalon. Okay, diencephalon. All right. And what is present between the two thalamus? Imagine this is the left and the right thalamus. The cavity what we have in the middle is the third ventricle. So the cavity between the two thalami is third ventricle. All right. What is its function? What do you mean by thalamus function? It is a main relay station of all the senses. Senses, as in all the sensory inputs, it takes as a relay station except olfaction. Olfaction does not go and relay in thalamus. Rest any sensation you take will have to go and relay in thalamus. From there, via thalamic radiation, it will be projected up to cerebral cortex. All right. So that is about function. Let us talk about its relation. Very brief, right? What I'm going to discuss would be very brief about it, but still do refer to your textbook after listening to this video. All right. Okay, so what is its relation? Whatever I could draw, I have drawn. Please excuse with the diagram anyways. So what you're seeing, if thalamus, medially you already know what ventricle do we have? We have the cavity of third ventricle. Naturally, third ventricle's lateral border is formed by thalamus. You understand? Okay, you all know third ventricle is the cavity of diencephalon. Yeah, it is a slit-like single cavity which has thalamus on the either side. That is a relation medially. So medially, what do we have, guys? We have third ventricle. Also, you need to know both the thalami of both the hemisphere are connected by a gray matter called as interthalamic adhesion. Interthalamic adhesions. Okay, this gray matter will be connecting the left with that of right thalami. So medially we have this. Also, we would be having the tela choroidea of this ventricle, third ventricle, but still it is okay. At least you should be able to tell medially it is related to what ventricle? Third ventricle. Yeah. Now, laterally what do we have? Laterally what do we have? We have something called internal capsule. Especially anterior limb of internal capsule is related lateral to that of thalamus. Also, we have one structure even lateral to it beyond the internal capsule, that is our, what is this? That's only basal nuclei. You are aware about basal nuclei, right? Having the medial part as globus pallidus and laterally we have something called lentiform nucleus, isn't it? So these structures form. Along with it, we also have head of caudate nucleus. So all these three structures will be related lateral to thalamus. Below to thalamus, what do we have? We have subthalamic nuclei. Okay. Then further below to that, below to diencephalon, what do we have? We have midbrain, isn't it? The red nucleus of midbrain. Yeah. Fine. So this is your understanding. Above, what do we have? Above to the thalamus, what do we have? We have nothing but our corpus callosum. What is this fiber here? That is the commissural fiber. You remember corpus callosum. And the septum pellucidum hanging below to it. And we have what? We have the fornix. Yeah, the columns of fornix. Above I am talking about. Again, what is this that you have drawn? It's nothing but the lateral ventricle cavity. Yeah, lateral ventricle cavity. You remember, right? Lateral ventricle we read. We had the body of lateral ventricle, and in the floor of lateral ventricle we had thalamus. You remember? Yeah, so that is what I am talking about. Okay, so that is it. Let us recall on the relations. Medially we have third ventricle and the interthalamic adhesions. Laterally we have anterior limb of internal capsule and the globus pallidus and lentiform nucleus of basal nuclei. Also the head of caudate nucleus. Yeah. Below this medial and lateral. Below to thalamus we'll have subthalamic nuclei, and we'll have the, what is it, what do we have here? We have the midbrain, isn't it, guys? Yeah, I might be drawing it wrong, but anyways, midbrain. Above, what do we have? We have corpus callosum, hanging septum pellucidum, and the related structure is column of fornix. On the either side above, what do we have? We have the body of lateral ventricle. Yeah, lateral ventricle. Now, going to the next heading, parts. Parts of thalamus. You need to understand it is literally like an egg shaped. Yeah, it has an anterior narrow part and a posterior broad part. Anterior narrow part is related to what foramen? You remember that the third ventricle is connected to lateral ventricle through a foramen called as foramen of Monro. So the anterior end is limited by foramen of Monro. Yeah, interventricular foramen of Monro. Posterior part, we also have a name. It's literally broad, yeah, like a egg, you remember. That is called as pulvinar. Pulvinar. What is the posterior broad end of thalamus called as pulvinar? Now this is related structurally with two geniculate body. What is this called as? We have one lateral geniculate body and medial geniculate body. Now these two geniculate bodies belongs to what part of thalamus? The diencephalon, it belongs to metathalamus. So metathalamus has two parts, lateral geniculate and medial geniculate body. Let us go to the last subheading of it, connections. Connections. Okay, connections. So what do you understand about connections? This is exactly the thalamus. If we take a coronal section across the thalamus, we divide the thalamus into different nuclei by interthalamic, this is only interthalamic lamina, little Y-shaped. It divides the thalamus into medial, lateral and anterior part. This anterior between the two limbs of the Y is nothing but the anterior nucleus of thalamus. Okay, medial part in broad sense we call it as dorsal medial nucleus, DM, or medial dorsal nucleus, how you say, medial nucleus, yeah, DM, you remember. Yeah, then in this area, that's the lateral portion, we have two sets of nuclei. Yeah, we have we have lateral dorsal LD, lateral posterior LP and P. How do you remember? LD, LP, P. LD, LP, P. Yeah, they are all lateral tire nucleus. LD, LP, P. Alright, and we also have just adjacent to it, towards this zone, it is called as ventral tire. Very important, this can come as a separate question. Ventral tire nuclei. We have three sets here. What is it? Ventral anterior, ventral lateral and ventral posterior. Ventral posterior, further we have two, that is ventral posterior medial and ventral posterior lateral. Yeah, at the pulvinar area you remember two geniculate body, remember, lateral geniculate body, medial geniculate body and lateral geniculate body. Okay, so talking about connections of these nuclei, okay, you first need to understand what is this anterior nucleus of thalamus having connection. It do have connection with that of mammillary body. Okay, anterior nucleus of thalamus do have mammillary body connection. So this forms a tract called as mammillothalamic tract. What is it? Mammillothalamic tract. Now, this mammillothalamic tract is a part of limbic system. Limbic system, forming a portion of a circuit called as Pepys circuit. You know, this Pepys circuit is very important for recent memory. Alright, I hope you can see it. I'm sorry for choosing a darker color. Pepys circuit. Yeah, anterior nucleus of thalamus is having connection with that of mammillary body. Are you aware about mammillary body? Yeah, which forms a part of what system? Limbic system. Forming a very important portion of which circuit? Pepys circuit. Very important for our recent memory. Alright, that is about anterior nucleus. What about other nuclei? Let us talk about it. You are seeing here this tire, very important, VA, VL, VP. That is ventral anterior, ventral lateral and ventral posterior. Let us talk about this, alright. So, what have I drawn here? By seeing this diagram, what have you understood? This is nothing but our corpus striatum. isn't it? Basal nuclei having globus pallidus and lentiform nucleus. Globus pallidus is the main efferent from the corpus striatum, isn't it? So that would go and relay in ventral anterior. So ventral anterior, the afferent it receives from globus pallidus. And from here, it will be going to where, guys, it will be projecting high above. If I'm drawing cerebral cortex, a very small one, don't freak out. This is only cerebral cortex. Okay. Yeah. So this will be going and projecting where, guys, this is central and this is the motor area and this is premotor area here. It will be going and projecting to premotor area. Premotor area. From where? Ventral anterior. So the afferent is from where? Globus pallidus, and efferent it would be going to premotor area. What about ventral lateral afferent? It is coming from dentate nucleus. You remember from the cerebellum. How do you remember? L, cerebellum. L. Yeah, we stress on that L, right? So from the dentate nucleus, it would go to the red nuclei. And from the red nuclei, it would be projecting to this part of the thalamus. So this forms what tract? Dentato-rubro-thalamic tract. From here, it would be projecting to the main motor area. Yeah, the primary motor area. So from the ventral anterior, it would go to the premotor area, area number 6. And this would be going to the primary motor area, area number 4. Alright. What about ventral posterior? Ventral posterior part. Ventral posterior has two, isn't it? Ventral posterior medial and ventral posterior lateral. The medial component would be receiving from a lemniscus called as trigeminal lemniscus. Yeah, the sensation from our face, isn't it? Trigeminal lemniscus. Ventral posterior lateral will be receiving from the other two lemnisci. What is it? Lateral lemniscus. Sorry, not lateral. I'm sorry about that. Spinal lemniscus. And also we have one more lemnisci, that is our medial lemnisci, right? Medial lemnisci. So SM, you remember, SM. Spinal lemniscus and medial lemniscus. Spinal lemniscus, just recall what is spinal lemniscus? That is carrying fibers from which tract? Lateral spinothalamic tract. Lateral spinothalamic tract. Spinal lemniscus. Lateral spinothalamic tract carries what sensation? That is opposite half of our body, it carries pain and temperature. Medial lemniscus you are already aware about. From the medulla it is forming all the way midbrain and it is reaching here. Yeah, this medial lemniscus is carrying opposite half of our body proprioception, isn't it? You remember sensory decussation? Yeah, that one. Okay, so that forms the ventral tire and its connections. From here where it will be projecting? From here it will be projecting to the sensory area, that is post central, isn't it? Area number 3, 1, 2. So you understood, this is to the premotor, this one is to the motor, and this one is to the sensory. From anterior to posterior, you remember like that. Okay. Now what about these two? Geniculate body. You need to remember lateral geniculate body forms a connection to which pathway, you know? That is visual pathway. Visual. Medial geniculate body to auditory pathway. How do you remember this? Lateral geniculate body, you know our eye is closer to the midline, isn't it? But no, it do have a connection with lateral geniculate, just the opposite, you remember. Our ear is more lateral, isn't it? But no, it is having a connection with medial geniculate body, just the opposite. You remember like that. Alright. Pulvinar. What about pulvinar? Pulvinar is having interconnection with that of association areas of all the lobes, that is frontal lobe, parietal lobe and occipital lobe. It do have connections with association areas of frontal lobe, parietal lobe and occipital lobe. Alright. That is it. Now we'll go to LDLP. This like a rhyme you keep talking. LDLP, LDLP. Yeah? LP very close to the pulvinar. You remember. LP do have a connection. Yeah, do have a connection. Connection as in going and coming. Yeah, it do have a connection with that of I'm sorry, some connection issue. This has a connection with that of superior parietal lobule. Okay, superior parietal lobule. You remember, guys, about in the parietal lobule, we have the superior parietal lobule and inferior parietal lobule. So it has a connection there. What about LD? LD has a connection with that of, I'll be writing here, I'm sorry with all this. It will be having a connection with cingulate gyrus. Alright, so that is it. So this completes the connection. Okay. So that is it. I hope you are having an idea about it. Okay, please do read about it and refer this diagram accordingly. Yeah. Okay, thank you.